Hello everyone, and welcome to question 3 of the Animal Biodiversity series. In this video, we'll be working through a question from the KZN June 2025 Provincial exam. This question is worth 8 marks. The phylogenetic tree below shows a possible evolutionary relationship within animal biodiversity and is represented from A to E. So at the top we can see Porifera, Cnidaria, Platyhelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, and Chordata. We are also given letters A, B, C, D, E, and these letters are showing us traits that evolved at those points. Right, now I'd like you to pause the video here and answer the questions. Thereafter, we'll go through the answers. The phylogenetic tree showed us the possible evolutionary relationships between the animals. Now, we are asked to name the phylum that remains attached to a substrate for most of its life. Before we answer that question, we need to think about the name or the word that describes such animals. So animals that are attached to a surface are said to be sessile. Animals that are free moving are mobile. So make sure you know the difference between those two words. So the phylum that remains attached is Porifera. Note that the question is asking you for the name of the phylum and not the common name of those animals. Name the two phyla that are most closely related. That would be Annelida and Arthropoda. Question 3.3.2. Write down only the letter that represents each of the following characteristics or descriptions of animal biodiversity. For this question, be careful that you don't write down the term, write only the letter. If you write the term, you could be marked incorrect, even if it is actually correct. So, the accumulation of sense organs in the anterior end would have developed at point C. We know that the term is referring to cephalization. B, the arrangement of body structures in relation to some axis of the body, that would be A. And the presence of a notochord would be E. So that is something we see more towards the chordates. 3.3.3. State two roles of organisms that display characteristic D in the ecosystem and agriculture. So, organisms, two roles of those organisms could be that they act as pollinators. So insects, for example, are animals that can act as pollinators. They play a role in decomposition. So this would be animals such as worms. They also aerate the soil. So they introduce by burrowing through the soil. So when worms are burrowing through soil, they are bringing air into the soil so that the organisms in that soil can carry out their life processes. So these characteristics are related to insects as well as worms. So that would be that they act as pollinators, they play a role in decomposition, and they aerate the soil. So once again, for this question, you do not need to explain, you simply need to state. So give yourself a mark out of 8, and then we can move on to the next question. Thank you.